Let's bring in the former editor of the Sunday Express and OK magazine, Martin Townsend. Martin, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Tim.
So it's all wrapped up. What did you think of it?
I just thought it was the most extraordinary day because it started off as this massive event, massive spectacle with all the world leaders and everything. And then as the day went on, it gradually got smaller and smaller and more intimate until you got this extraordinary moment where the sceptre and the orb and the crown are taken from the coffin, put on the altar, and it's the end. That's the end of the reign.
Lowered in
and
the vault.
lowered into the vault. And it was just that kind of sort of beginning of that huge thing, and then slowly it becomes a very intimate, almost a family thing. And I just thought that was extraordinary.
Martin, London is extraordinary at the moment. It's an extraordinary city anyway. The backdrop, the history, Buckingham Palace, Wellington's Arch, Windsor Castle, the Abbey itself. I mean, the emotion that the choir, the song, the gathering itself would bring just in that space alone. I can imagine the energy would have just been incredible. How do you get over this now, if you know what I mean? So you've had 10 days of mourning. It's been, I think, a cathartic moment for the country. But getting over this is going to be hard to get over too.
Yeah, I think it's going to take people quite a while actually to come to terms with the fact that the Queen's no longer there. I mean, the extraordinary thing about London today was all of those places that you've talked about, the Abbey, the Cenotaph, all of those, the balcony at these were all places where we saw the Queen all the time, where we were familiar with seeing her. And there she was, sort of going past them, being part of it for the very last time. I think it's just going to take a long time for people to adapt to the idea that the Queen is no longer going to be that reliable symbol of stability that she's been for 70 years.
It's just the subtleties of it all were amazing too. I mean, you brought up before when her coffin was lowered into the vault and the piper was playing and the piper was walking off and he disappeared. And I read that the Queen always wanted or always had a piper playing at 9 o'clock in the morning. I think whether it was in Balmoral or one of the many places. Yeah. So there's all those links that are littered throughout it, which I find just extraordinary. Yeah,
they're personal touches. I mean, and you never lose sight. We haven't lost sight, I think, over the last 10 days, that this is the Queen's work that we're seeing here. This is not somebody else imposing their idea of a ceremony on the Queen. This is the Queen giving back to the nation her idea of what her farewell should be like. And as you say, all the little personal touches. I mean, the piper, that was the most cinematic thing you could imagine. If Steven Spielberg had come up with that, you'd have said, that's genius. And this was because it was so laden with emotion and so perfect.
And that's already an emotional instrument.
Yes, absolutely. If you're not stirred by that, you're not going to be stirred by anything.